What's going on? It's Jason Heath, and today we're taking a look at a very cool solo bass piece by a composer that's been getting a ton of attention in recent years. Michael Kurth is a bassist in the Atlanta Symphony, and he is a composing and arranging machine. He has had several of his pieces performed by the Atlanta Symphony, and he's got a very cool role in the orchestra in addition to playing bass.
In a sense, I get a composition lesson every time we're in rehearsal, and we're playing some Brahms or something, and there's no better teacher than that, just to sit there and hear it from the inside.
Michael has written and arranged a ton of music for solo bass, bass and piano, bass ensembles, all that kind of stuff. We've got all that linked to in our sheet music store in the description below. But today, I'm taking a look at a piece that I found fascinating, The Monster Never Tires. It's a piece for me that sits in that great area where it's not causing me to lose sleep at night practicing it because it's so insanely difficult, but it's not an easy piece either. It's got some great challenges, but it's very idiomatic for the bass, and it's got such a cool groove.
It starts in your head, if it's whatever, a concept for a piece, or a rhythm, or a chord progression, or a melody, a little fragment of something, and you just sit there and hammer at it and beg it until it turns into something else, something bigger, or it doesn't. It's kind of like, for me as a composer, if I feel like if I'm not throwing away at least about half of what I write, then whatever remains is not going to be up to the standard.
Okay, let's take a look inside this cool piece by Michael Kurth. I had such a good time working on this. And people are always scared to do Cole Laney with the bow, hitting the bow against anything. If you do it lightly on the bridge like that, it makes a quite satisfying sound. That's probably why Michael wrote it that way, so you're not damaging your bow too much. I did have a microphone disturbingly close to that, so I had to do a few takes because I kept on whacking the mic stand. I love how this motive develops. The register is super fun, and as you keep going through the piece, the register just kind of crawls higher and higher and higher and higher and then ends back down where you started. I love, again, that motivic development. It's a great study in double stops, too, and just where it sits on the bass. It's super fun to play. Very rock and roll. You can see the tension in my face trying to do these. It's pretty cool. He has all these fourths, well, thirds and fourths and all kinds of things. The fourths I'm doing with my second finger barred. And yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely a good left-hand workout. Maybe that's part of the reasoning behind the naming, because maybe I'm the monster and I don't tire. Although I do kind of tire by the end of this. So. Cool riff. Back to the original motive. There we go. I think I took that Homer Simpson clip out in the previous part. So, oh well, I was goofing around and then decided not to do that in the final part. But I guess you get that here. So now we have this cool groove. I got to stop saying cool groove because they're all cool grooves. But now we're playing on the A string with a few double stops, fourths and such. But the D is a drone here. So you got to make sure that you clear the D string as you're playing on the A string, which is no big deal. You just got to kind of pay attention to it. Little A string riff. Now this is a finger twister. Once you get all these things, there's nothing not doable in here for sure. It's a great piece. I predict myself playing this a lot more in the future. This one is interesting because you got this tritone, and then you put down the second finger, and then you're doing this little fork, I think it's called, with 2 and 3, and you're doing that on the D string and the A string and then the G string and the D string. It's definitely a little bit of a contortionist move, although it does work. It's just not something I do all the time in life. I'm trying my best. Now I get these cool perfect fifths. And now here's where I'm kind of squawking some of these things. Wasn't really happy with the takes that I got, but oh well, life goes on. They all work. It's just some of them you close both notes. Some of them you have a harmonic on the D string. Some of them you have a harmonic on the G string. So part of the challenge is being aware of what fingers are doing what. And as we get into this bit here, Michael in the fingered part indicates 3 for all the top notes. For a little while I was doing 2 because sometimes when the notes get closer and closer together up high, I feel more comfortable with 1, 2. But as the tempo increased, I realized the advantages of always keeping 1 in the low string and always keeping 3 on the high string. So that's what I largely went with here. These minor sixths and fifths. Okay, here we go. Challenge. I'll give myself a B+, maybe B-. I love this little trance-like kind of thing. Michael has you sliding with the same finger for all this stuff. Now, fifths and sixths, going up the bass, climbing, little D string with G string drawn at you. Now those last couple intervals are super cool. So he's got a high F natural harmonic and on the G string, and then a thumb on the D harmonic on the D string, and then you go down and you play D harmonic and F closed with the thumb, and there's that move. Once you get it down, there's kind of a symmetry. In fact, they might be the same interval spacing. I would have to look and think a little more clearly about that. But anyway, they feel very similar once you get them. There's a real temptation for me to just play D octaves on that third note from the end, but I just made sure to open my hand up enough and it all worked. Cool piece. I love it.
That's a quick look inside the Monster Never Tires. Again, we've got that linked up in the description below if you want to check out a copy of this music and all these other compositions and arrangements by Michael. It's remarkable the work that he is doing as a composer in addition to playing in the Atlanta Symphony. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you want to go further into the sheet music rabbit hole for the bass, check out this video we've got linked up. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.